Good morning. Today is the 1st of August when I'm recording this. If you're watching live, shout out to everybody who's watching on replay. Welcome to the new month. For those of you who are checking in live, I'm in two places. I'm on Instagram live and I'm also live on TikTok. I don't know if TikTok is populated yet, but I'm live on Instagram, live on TikTok. Hope everybody has had a great start to the brand new month. If you haven't written down goals for the month, make sure you write down some goals for the month. Successful people show up with plans to become successful. It does not just happen randomly, and a goal is a plan for future success. So if you didn't know that, now you know. Make sure you take care of that. What we're going to talk about here today is tightening up. Topic here today is tightening up. This is the process. This is about putting a process in front of getting more motivated, about even in front of hard work and discipline, to be able to do those things, be motivated, work hard, and be disciplined, even when, especially when, better way of saying it, when you feel like you need to get more done and you need to get better at getting things done. Now, I thought of this when just thinking of myself, just holding myself accountable for making sure that I'm plugging all the time leaks, feeling like I'm not getting enough done over the course of a day. Any of you ever had this experience? Or simply just not being as efficient as you want to be? So any of you who's ever had that challenge or that problem, I thought of this topic because of that type of challenge. What's going on, homie Pose? Appreciate it. And this is what I'm going to talk about here today, about how you can tighten up. And this is the same things that I would put in place for myself. And I want to make sure I explain these, because I don't want you to think that this is just more stuff on your plate that you need to go and do. These are things that you need to understand, and then you can think strategically about what you can do based on them. So before I get into this, I remind you all who I am. My name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day, former 9-year pro athlete, author of 35 books, done 4 TEDxTalks. Create this brand called Work on Your Game. We take the tools to help athletes get to the top of the sports world, and we translate those tools over to the business and professional world to help you perform at your highest level, do so consistently, and generate more revenue in your business. So, getting into our points here. Number one point, we're talking about tightening up today. Number one, put processes and systems in place, or improve your processes and systems if you already have them, instead of resolving to work harder or get more motivated. So this is a very important point. And yesterday, when we were talking about the law of attraction, we talked about the energetic frequency and the vibration and all of that stuff. Understand that working harder and getting more motivated are useful when you use them in the right ways. However, putting the right process and system in place is more important than getting more motivated and working harder. Because if you're working hard and motivated to do things that are just an inefficient process, or you have no system, you're just doing things randomly, you will work really hard but not really get the ROI from your efforts that you feel like you should be getting. So is any of you who's in a situation right now, or you ever been in a situation where you felt like your returns were not equal to your efforts? This is why. It's because you did not have a process or a system in place. You were just doing stuff. And it's not that the stuff you were doing is necessarily wrong, but because there's no system, you're not getting the results that you want. You're like, man, I'm doing all this work, but my returns are like less than the effort that I'm putting in. This is why. You got to have a process, folks. The most successful businesses, the most successful people, they operate by process and system. Some of them will show you their process or system, or you can see it. And some of them, they don't tell you or talk about their process or system, but I guarantee you that they have one. Whole Foods has a process. Amazon has a process. Target has a process. Jiffy Lube has a process. All the companies that you know, like well-known companies that have been around for a long time, the reason that they're successful is not because they have the most genius people working for them. It's because they have a system in place that, as long as the system continues to operate the way it's supposed to, they don't have to be geniuses. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in a place where the system is doing the work, to where you don't have to be a genius and you don't have to be this amazing performer in order to still be successful. And then if you happen to be a genius and you happen to be an amazing performer at the same time, that's even better. All right, but you want the system to be there. Think of a place like McDonald's. Who works at McDonald's? Usually entry-level people, aside from the managers, but the workers, the people on the fry machine, these are entry-level people, right? Working a minimum wage job. Now, why is McDonald's so successful, even though they got a bunch of entry-level minimum wage people working there? It's because the system is more important than the people. That's why. The system is more important than the people. Now, in your business, let's say you run a business and it's just you. You're the person in your business. You're a personal trainer. You're a consultant. You're a coach. You're a physical therapist. You're a whatever else you could be. You're a teacher. You're a course creator online, and you are the main person in your business. And I'll answer all the questions at the end. Can a system be better than you in your business? The answer is absolutely yes. Yes, you want to have a system in place such that the most important part of the business is the system itself, not the person. That doesn't mean the person doesn't matter. I mean, I matter in my business, but you want to put a system in place to where there's ways that the business can still produce and do what it needs to do, even if the person, if you go on vacation, if you take a day off, or if you get sick, or for whatever reason you just decide you want to retire, you don't want to work anymore, can the system still produce results for you? All right. Do you have pieces in place that can do that? And when you have the right system, the answer is yes, you can. All right. That's what you want. Again, this can be for an individual. This can be for a big conglomerate. So you want to find for yourself the right process or system that needs to be put in place. And here's the key. You don't have to do this all by yourself. This is the part that I want you to get. Every point that I'm going to give you here today, even though the topic is tightening up, doesn't mean everything that I say, you have to go do it on your own, by yourself, through your own efforts, energy, and intelligence. What you can do is plug into other people who have already figured these things out so that you have them. So when I tell you that you need a process or system, that doesn't mean you need to go create a process or system. It means you need to go figure out who has a process or system and make sure you get it. Now, you have the option of figuring it out yourself, but if you can't, or you don't want to, or you don't have the ability to, then take the easier route, hit the easy button, and plug into someone else's who's already created this. Again, you do not need to do anything that I say here today all by yourself. If your goal is winning, then what you need to do is what gets you to the win as quickly and efficiently as possible, not doing it all yourself, because you don't get more money or a bigger trophy just because you did it by yourself. And most people try to do everything by themselves usually don't get the money or the trophy, because you're competing against the whole world and you're not going to beat the whole world on your own. So what is the process that you need in order to get yourself, what is the access that you need in order to get the process that you need in order to perform at your highest level? Again, none of this is about working harder, being more disciplined, or being more motivated. It's about taking the shortcut to getting the right process. Point number 2, we're talking here today about tightening up. How do you tighten up as we move into this new month and we get closer to the end of the year 2024? Number 2, make rules of conduct for yourself and abide by those rules, or have rules of conduct is a better thing, I should say. Again, you don't have to create the rules. You can plug into somebody else's rules. If any of you's ever played on a sports team, the coach makes the rules. The coach tells you what the rules are. Okay, everybody's going to abide by these rules. This is what time we have practice. This is what time you show up. This is how you conduct yourself in the games. This is how you need to do this and that. They tell you everything you need to do when you're on a sports team. So the coach is making the rules, and all you do is follow the rules. So again, you don't have to make all the rules. If any of you has a job, the job tells you the rules. They tell you this is the way it works. This is the code of behavior. If you're going to work here at this company, this is what you need to do. Here's what you can do. Here's what you can't do. What are they giving you? They're giving you rules and parameters. They're telling you how it works. All you have to do is follow something that was already created by somebody else. This is the easy button, ladies and gentlemen. The easy button is plugging into something that someone else has already created so that you don't have to figure it out. So please do not misconstrue anything I'm saying here today to mean that you need to go do all of it on your own. That is the slowest way to achieve success, simply because no human being is intelligent enough or hardworking enough or talented enough to do everything on their own. So when you're trying to do everything on your own, you're setting yourself up to fail. That's it. If you're trying to do everything on your own, you are setting yourself up to fail. You don't have the talent, you don't have the time, you don't have the energy, nor do you have the ability, based on current limitations of human beings. You cannot be in two places at once. So when you're trying to do everything on your own, you're going to come up short simply because you're not good enough at everything to do everything well. You could technically do everything, but you can't do it well. And so it's a mistake to try to do everything on your own, because then you're producing mediocre work. And you as a customer, do you pay for mediocrity? And many of us do pay for mediocrity, but for the most part, we don't want to. All right. And as soon as we find something better, we leave. What's going on, Angie B? Good morning. Good to see you. So you need to plug into a process that has systems and rules in place that hold you to certain standards of behavior. All right. That's what that does. So are you doing this? And if you're not doing it, again, plug into a process or a system that has it in place for you, and stop trying to figure everything out on your own. Any of you who feels like you're not getting the progress that you want so far in this quarter, this year, this new month. So let's say last month, whatever, it's probably because you're trying to do too many things by yourself rather than plugging into outside assets, outside resources, besides just doing everything on your own. So the good news is you can notice this leak in the process and make your changes. Point number 3, and I'll answer questions at the end. I got one more point. This is the third point. We are talking here today about how to tighten up. Prioritize your big dominoes. You got to find out what your big dominoes are. A big domino is what is the most important, biggest thing that you need to accomplish, achieve, or get done that would render all the other smaller things unnecessary or irrelevant. What is the biggest, most important thing you need to do that once that's done, all the other things you don't have to worry about anymore. What's the big domino for you? So the big domino, if you're running a business, for example, might be we just need to have cash on hand. So if a business has cash on hand, meaning available money that they can spend, they can pretty much connection on IG or back. If that means that the business says, hey, we need to hire some staff so that we can handle all these orders, they can use money to hire the staff. Or if they need to pay the vendors, they have money to pay the vendors. Or there's a broken machine, we got to get it fixed, they can use money to pay the repairman to come fix it. As long as they have cash, they can pretty much solve every other problem. So the big domino for the business is what? We got to make sure there's cash coming in, or we got to have cash, whether they go get a loan, whether they go get an advance from somewhere, whether they get a grant from the government, or they just make some more sales. As long as they have cash, they can pretty much solve every other problem. I'm just using that as an example. But you need to know what the big domino is for you. What is it? What's the big domino for you? For some people, it might be, hey, I just need to get some more sleep so I have better energy over the course of a day. For other people, it might be I need to clear my inbox and get all these emails that I haven't read answered, and I got to respond to everybody. For someone else, it might be I need to make sure I'm doing enough sales presentations, because I know for every 10 presentations I do, I'm going to sell 3 people, and that will solve all of our problems. So what's the big domino for you? You need to know what your big domino is, and you need to prioritize the big domino and focus on doing that over doing all the other little things that we tend to get caught up in over the course of our days that allows us to feel busy, but we're not actually being effective. We feel productive, because you can be productive doing things that don't matter. I could be productive just posting on social media all day. I could be productively posting on social media all day. But is that the big domino of my business? The answer is no. So it doesn't mean I won't post on social media, but my priority is not posting on social media, because that's not the big domino for me. So what is the big domino for you? And what are the smaller dominoes that you are allowing to usurp your time and attention, but are not actually producing the ROI that you need? So this is a strategic thinking exercise that you can do on your own if you are capable. If you're not, then again, as I just said in points number 1 and number 2, tap into someone or something that can help you have this kind of conversation so that you can get strategically aligned between your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your outcomes. When you have alignment between those 4 things, that's when you get streamlined. Thoughts, words, actions, outcomes. And if these are off, if any one of these is off, and this is when you feel like, man, you could feel like you're working really hard but not getting the results you want, because there's an incongruence between these 4 things. And what I talked about this, I think last week on one of my lives, is being out of integrity. So your to-do list for a day, folks. Any of you had to-do lists over the course of a day? Your to-do list shouldn't have 20 or 30 things on it when you're focusing on the big domino. I'm not saying there may not be 20 or 30 things that need to get done, but if you focus on the big domino, that big domino should take care of a bunch of the things on that list, to where you either don't need to do them at all because they no longer matter, or you can pass them off to other things or people who can take care of them instead of you having to take care of them. So there could be a list right now in my business of 1,000 things that need to get done. Doesn't mean that I'm going to do all 1,000. I can pass them off to staff. I could hire some outside people to do it. I could hire some gig worker. I can go find some AI software to do it for me. Or if I take care of more of my big dominoes, then I won't need to do them at all. I can just cross them off. Like, that doesn't even matter anymore because I took care of this. And now that doesn't even matter. Now it's not even important. So this is why you got to know what your big dominoes are, what the most important things are for you in your business. Because if you allow the to-do list to just keep getting bigger, bigger, and bigger, and you're not focusing on a big domino, what you land in is what we call tactical hell. I might do a live on this very concept. Tactical hell is when you are kind of like playing whack-a-mole. You ever been to the arcade and they had that whack-a-mole game where you get the little mallet and then the mole pops up and you hit it and another one pops up and they just start popping up faster and faster. You just got to keep hitting them until they come up so fast that you lose the game. That's how many people operate their lives and their businesses. You're just, every moment something else pops up and you're just knocking everything out. And you may feel, again, you can feel extremely productive doing that. The problem is, what are you producing? You're producing a whole lot of effort and sweat, but is this actually moving you forward? And you'll get to the end of the day or the end of the week or the month or the year, and you'll say to yourself, damn, I worked really hard this week, month, year, but I don't feel like I've made any real progress. I'm still in the same spot. I just worked hard to stay in the same spot. It's like running on a treadmill. You don't want that. That's not the outcome that you want. What you want instead is to be actually making progress and moving effectively forward, which means you got to be focusing on the things that move you forward rather than just the things that seem urgent in the moment, but are actually unimportant in the big picture. Urgent and important are not necessarily connected. Something can be urgent, but it's not important. You need to decide what's important, and that's what you need to focus on. And the things that appear urgent, they may be urgent, but that doesn't mean they need your attention right now. It could be somebody else or something else can take care of it instead of you taking care of it. So if you got a question or comment, go ahead and put it in the comment section. I'm going to recap these points here. We're talking about tightening up. What's perfect timing being is a brand new month. At least those of you who are watching this live, and it's always a month. So let's get to it. Number one, put processes and systems in place instead of simply working harder and trying to find ways to get more motivated. This is the common mistake. I would say the most common mistake most people make. And I talk to entrepreneurs at all levels, people who are just starting out, maybe transitioning from a job, people who are maybe struggling, trying to make things happen, and people who are at pretty high levels. I'm talking people who are top 5 or 10% income earners in America. And they all have the same challenge that they say, well, I guess I got to work harder. I guess I got to get more motivated. No, that is not what you need to do. I'm not saying don't work hard, and I'm not saying don't be motivated. What I'm saying is that's not the solution. That's an element, is not a solution. The solution is you need to have processes and systems in place that lead you to the outcomes that you want, rather than just trying to work harder to get to your outcomes. That is the common mistake we make, especially those of you who grew up in the United States, where it is preached to you to just work hard and be motivated as if that's the key to success. That is not the key to success. Number two, make rules of conduct for yourself and actually abide by them, or tap into someone who already has rules and just follow the rules that they set. Again, you played on the sports team, they give you rules. You had a job, they give you rules. If you work in the government, they give you rules. If you work in anywhere you go, any organization, especially bureaucratic organizations, they have a bunch of rules. As long as you follow the rules, then things go pretty well. You break the rules, you get fired. That's how it works. Number three, prioritize your big dominoes and make plans to do less stuff that makes a higher impact. This is the key. You want to be doing fewer things that make a higher impact. That's how you actually get results. Not doing more things that may matter and may not matter, and then just hoping that you end up where you want to be, which is the way most people operate the majority of their lives. Instead, you need to take a step back, stop doing stuff, and ask yourself, what's the most important thing I need to be doing right now? Which is usually a thing that you often will put off and procrastinate on because it's not easy. The things that make the highest impact are usually the hardest things to do. Usually you'll find a connection between those two, a correlation. The harder it is to do, the more important it is, and the more likely you are to keep procrastinating on doing it because you don't want to deal with the pain and the friction of having to do something that's hard. So instead, we focus on doing things that are easy, like opening emails and posting on social media, because that's easy and it's fun and there's no friction. But what is actually going to move your life forward? Is that it? Probably not. So that's the hard part. That's the discipline. And again, this is why coaching, consulting, training industries exist, to help you do these things when you may not be able to move yourself to do them on your own. And in my experience, most people do not have the ability to move themselves to do this on their own. So I would suggest, if you've been struggling with this, stop resolving that that today's going to be the day that you finally start doing it. Stop lying to yourself and actually push the easy button and get some help. That's what smart people do. So, and even your hardworking, most successful people, that's what they all do. They all do it, no exceptions. With that said, you got a question or comment, put it in the comment section. I'm going to look through TikTok first. I don't think I've seen any. And if you got one on Instagram, go ahead and put it on there. And somebody said something that they eat in the morning gives you great fuel, but my mom says no. I think maybe they'll give you great fuel. CJ Buck says he eats pizza rolls. Does that give him fuel? Maybe, if it gives you fuel, then cool. But I would guess, just based on what we know about nutrition, the pizza roll is probably not the best thing you can keep eating. I think that energy is despite the fact you're eating pizza, not because you're eating pizza. So I think you're confusing correlation with causation. I don't think the pizza rolls are making you have energy. I think you had energy anyway, and if you ate some better food, you probably get even better energy. And you might be young enough that it doesn't matter right now. But over time, I'll probably kill the pizza rolls. That's what I would do if you're asking. Hans Ria Industry, good morning. Good to see you here. Homie Pose, see you. Good morning. Angie, what's going on? Always Training says everyone has a game plan to hitting the mountain canvas. Adjustments on the fly are very important as well. Okay. Angie says pizza rolls, no fruit before noon. Yeah, I wouldn't go with pizza rolls at all. I would say use pizza rolls as a snack, not something that you would not something for like a basic part of your nutrition. Crespo Realty, what's going on? Good morning. All right, everybody. So the other thing I'll tell you all is Work on Your Game University. That's the place where you can get access to me as a coach. You get access to all of our courses, all of our trainings. We have 40 plus courses inside of the university. Let me see if I can pull the page up so I can show it to you on my phone. You get access to all of our courses. We got 40 plus courses inside of Work on Your Game University, and we focus on 4 specific areas: mindset, strategy, systems, and accountability. Here's the page, if you just go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, this is exactly what you will see. There's a little video from me there explaining what we're doing here. And you see the buttons there. You can get started right here on the university at any time. So we got a good amount of information here, just explaining to you what we're about, why we're about it, why we're doing what we're doing, and what we focus on. Ability for performance. We lay out what you get in a bunch of our courses, and we have courses on every aspect of development, training, and personal and professional growth all in here. And you get access to me as your direct coach. That all happens at workonyourgameuniversity.com. It's a link in my bio. Everybody have a great rest of your, what's today, Thursday, and set your goals for the month if you have not written it down yet. Work on your game. We out.